All right, ladies and gents, this is Will Zanders, and it is not the night before Christmas. It's the night before the 2021 90-day run. This is going to be a training video. We'll be doing a lot of these. We're also going to be doing a lot of Zooms, not just in the evening, but in the daytime. So if you have prospects as you're doing these exposures and they need information, don't be afraid to, get with us in the stakeholders chat to let us know, hey man, I need a three-way. Hey, I need some calls. I need a Zoom, different time zones. Let us know. We looking to really invest in ourselves and invest in you for the next 90 days. And y'all have the official dates. We're going to be running until Tuesday, December 7th. So Tuesday, September 7th, all the way to December 7th, which is a Tuesday. That'll be our full 90 days. We're actually very, very excited about it. It's actually 92 days. So we'll have 2 off days that we'll squeeze in there. We'll surprise you. We'll let you know when the off days are. Give you a hint. Thanksgiving's going to be one of them. But something tells me by then you're not going to miss your 2 exposures on that day. Something tells me you jokers are not going to take off on Thanksgiving and you're going to get your 2 exposures in. But don't worry, there's 2 off days coming up for you over the next 90 days. Now, the training we want to do tonight is just a little precursor. And any questions you have, please post those in the chat. We're going to dive right into it. And this is very interesting. This is going to be from the book of 1 Samuel. And this is going to be chapter 17. And it's David and Goliath. So I'm just going to kind of run down, the story. David, little farmer, shepherd kid, comes down. Goliath, big guy. Goliath and the Philistines are beefing with the Israelites, and nobody wants to tackle this guy because, according to historians, Goliath was 9'9". I mean, that's strong. And they didn't have like heels and inserts back then. They had like flat little sandals. So this cat was a legit 9'9", and his armor, the armor he wore was over 120 pounds. Just imagine that amount of armor. There wasn't no guns back then. Wasn't no guns that we know of back then. And we'll touch on that later. But the bottom line is clearly overmatched. The warriors didn't want to fight. The king didn't want to fight. Nobody wanted that smoke with Goliath. But here comes David, and he wants that smoke. And his family hated on him. No, you too small. Go back with them few sheep. And he had to skip them. He had to go straight to the king. He had to go to Saul and say, look, I'm up for the charge. And why? Because David knew what was at stake. It says, I'm paraphrasing, but it says there in chapter 17, whoever killed Goliath, look, they get the king's daughter. They get to, look, the relationship you want, guess what? That's on the other side of that giant. They get money, guess what? That's on the other side of the giant. Land and no taxes, buddy, that's on the other side of that giant. So the only thing standing between you, basically, and the life of your dreams is a giant. Now, just so you know, historically speaking, the giant has 4 brothers. Historically, it might be 3 brothers and his dad or 3 brothers and an uncle, but typically we reference 5 giants. 2 of them had the same name, but that wasn't uncommon back then. Kind of like how George Foreman named all his kids George. Well, Goliath's dad named at least 2 of his kids Goliath. I don't know why, it is what it is. And but David had 5 smooth stones. Okay, literally says 5 smooth stones, not regular stones, 5 smooth stones. And then, and you know the way the story went. David killed Goliath with a slingshot, and the rest is history. Now, pause. And if you haven't read the books, anything by Malcolm Gladwell, who wrote Outliers, this dude is phenomenal. He has a podcast called Revisionist History. He's phenomenal at breaking historical events down. I'm doing research on this guy. He's blowing me away with this type of information from all type of historical events. But this one was significant for me because it immediately jumped out as applicable to MLM. So let's see where we're at. You already know the background. We caught you all up to the story. Let me see. And yeah, Goliath is making a habit out of this. He was beefing with Israel for 40 days. That's a long time to just be at. It's like a full-time job, trash talking the people of God. That's unfortunate, but you see how it turned out for him. Let's see. Here we go. Let's see where we at. Yep, this is what's going to be done. All right, now this is real interesting. So when David went down there, he came. I'm going to read this section to you. David said to Saul, he's talking to the king, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. And he said that because Saul said, you can't go fight against this guy. You'll get killed. David says, no. David says to Saul, bear with me. David says to Saul, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. And when a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock, I went after it, I struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. When it turned on me, which it was going to do, I seized it by his hair, struck it, and killed it. Wow. Your servant has killed the lion and the bear. This uncircumcised Philistine will be like one of them because he has defied the armies of the living God. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the jaw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said to David, go and the Lord be with you. Wow. So David's confidence is hitting on 9,000. Saul was king, and he had already seen God in his life before he fell off the wagon. And so Saul understood this kid's confidence. He knew the verse was coming thousands of years later that said, according to your faith, shall it be done unto you. So David had a faith that was going to allow him to walk on water at this point, which is basically go stomp on Goliath. Now, this is the thing that applies it to MLM. Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to have to go and tackle your giants of rejection, shame, pride, whatever you think people think about you, because you got to make these exposures to get to your goal, to have your dream lifestyle at the end of 90 days. You got to set the foundation proper, and you got to go through this stuff. And your giant that's trying to stop you is unique to everybody. Everybody's got their own giant, but here's the stuff that's not unique. Then Saul said to David, dressed in his own tunic, he put a coat of armor on him, a bronze helmet on his head. David fastened on his sword over the tunic and tried walking around because he was not used to them. And David said to Saul, I cannot go in these because I'm not used to them. So he took them off. Then he put a staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in hand, he approached the Philistine. Now pause, okay? So as you're going through this, you're going to get a lot of distracted stuff from people who say, hey, you can achieve your dreams better this way. Don't focus on doing that type of MLM that way. Do it this way. Don't worry about them videos Will made. He don't know. He only made the money he claimed he made. He didn't make 20 billion. So this other person who's got, they're going to try to put armor on you and different stuff on you that you really ain't comfortable dealing with. Let me tell you what you're comfortable dealing with. Talking to people in person, talking to people on social media, texting people. Did you notice that the videos are all stuff that's normal? Although you have some people who have some different skills. We didn't talk about co-op, drop cards, leads, digital advertising. We didn't talk about nothing but text message, social media, Facebook, and a phone. And maybe talking to people in person, maybe inviting them over to have a cup of coffee or something. We want you to do stuff that you're comfortable with. That's why the scripts are so easy. That's why they're so simple. That's on purpose. Why? Because you got to have a few simple actions that can be duplicated by a large number of people consistently over time. You start getting into the bronze helmets and the coats of armor, it's going to be awkward for you, and you're going to be trying to learn this new stuff. And the HBN experience is so powerful, you don't even need all that. I'm telling you, I know how to do all that stuff. I'm telling you what I'm doing. My next video, you'll see my list that I have on my whiteboard of all 50 of my contacts for the week. I'm just waiting until after midnight to start contacting them. I might be done in 2 days. Okay, so I know how to just text them. Hey, let me know when you got a second. I have a quick question. Yeah, Will, what's up? Hey, man, you don't know anybody looking to make some extra money, do you? That's it. If you say, yeah, cool. If not, doesn't matter to me. That's one of my 50. And then I'm going to 2 a day after that. So don't overcomplicate this stuff. Don't put on armor you ain't used to wearing. It's going to slow you down and throw you off. Just trust me. Make your first 50 grand our way. And if you want to change after that, you have our blessing. But at least get your first 50 grand. Now, notice that David took out 5 smooth stones. Now, ladies and gentlemen, these were not ordinary stones. I wrote this down for you. These stones were actually made of barium sulfate. The stones in the valley of Elah were not only smooth because of the water, but the bulk of these stones were made out of barium sulfate, which meant that they were twice as dense as regular stones, but not heavier than regular rocks. And they were smooth because the same water that created the valley is the same water that smoothed these stones, because he went to the stream and got them. So David basically had a really heavy, high velocity projectile. And we already know if you can hit a lion and hit a bear with a slingshot, you can hit a 9'9" target. That boy's big. He's a big target. So now you're starting to really understand David really wasn't at the disadvantage you think. Now, his family tried to convince him that he was at a disadvantage. Ladies and gentlemen, your friends and family will be sometimes the people who tell you can't do this, Don't do this. Why are you doing this? You'll never make it. They can make the money, but you can't make the money. Why? Because they're scared to go do it themselves. Okay? If some of my family members, God bless them, who told me don't do this business and don't do a 90-day run when I, first started the industry, if they had told me anything, if I had listened, I'd be just as broke as them. But the bottom line is they had never tackled their giants. So subconsciously, they wanted you to play it safe and not go tackle your giant. Well, no, my giant was getting a stone in the head. I don't know about you, but my giant got a stone in the head, and my next giant, he about to get one too. That's just, it's what it is. If you don't want the smoke, don't step into the valley messing with the children of God, because we ain't playing in 2021. The government doing too much wild stuff, and for us to be playing small, people losing their jobs because they don't want to get, injected with stuff that they really don't like. A lot of stuff going on right now, and you got to at some point make a stand and go face the giant and stop being so dang scary. So David has basically a high velocity projectile. He's very skilled at using it. And Goliath says right here, and he had a shield bearer. So that was weird. Like, you're not even holding your own shield. Like, you kind of spoiled, Goliath. Goliath says in verse 45 in chapter 17. Let's see. No, that's David speaking. Oh, Goliath in verse 44. Come here, he said. So Goliath is telling David to come to me. Now, David basically has what amounts to a handgun. I referenced that earlier. David has a handgun, basically, with 5 bullets. And projectiles, if you do your research back then, a really good slinger could hurl a projectile with really good accuracy, roughly 200 yards. And they're traveling with the same amount of force as a 45 caliber bullet. This is what Bible experts and historians have discovered about this whole scenario over the last 10, 20 years. David really wasn't at the disadvantage like you think. And he has no intention of running up on Goliath in a traditional manner, okay? I had no intention of fulfilling my dreams with a 9-to-5 job. That's a traditional manner. I'm going the MLM route, so it looks weird to everybody else who ain't doing it, but at the same time, I got the slingshot, and I got the 5 stones, right? So Goliath says, come here, and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals. Like, I'm going to kill you and let the animals eat you, but come here. David says, no, David ain't doing all that. David ain't doing all that. So what David does is he takes basically a 45 caliber handgun, cracks Goliath over the head, knocks him out, but doesn't kill him, because it says right here, as the Philistine moved closer to attack him, David ran quickly toward the battle line to meet him. So David's running, whipping this slingshot. He's done this a million times. This is not, the confidence in this 14 or 15-year-old kid is incredible. So he's running toward this guy, slinging the slingshot, and shoots Goliath square, shoots him right in the middle of the head. Boop, literally knocks him out cold. And we don't think it killed him, because it says right here, he reached into his bag, took out the stone, slung it, struck the Philistine on the forehead. Okay, right in the third eye. Boop, there's a message there. Okay, the stone sank into his forehead, like it was embedded, like this is rough. And he fell face down on the ground, okay? So then it says, so David triumphed over the Philistine with a sling and a stone. Without a sword in his hand, he struck down the Philistine and killed him. But then it backtracks a little bit and says, David ran and stood over him, took hold of the Philistine's sword, drew it from the sheath, okay? After he killed him, he cut off his head with the sword. So he was either knocked out, then he killed him with the sword and cut off his head. We don't really know, but he killed him or he didn't with the stone, but the job was done at that point. Dude's knocked out, and David did what he needed to do, or he died, and David cut off his head just off GP. Because this is a 14-year-old kid. It's pretty gory, but this lets you know how savage David was as a kid. But remember, the people, his family who knew him, they knew he was a G. They were the ones telling him, go back tending the sheep. You can't do this. You can't beat this guy. He's like, did y'all not know exactly who I am and who I serve? So David had his confidence on him, and he had 5 stones, and Goliath was really at a disadvantage, because Goliath would have had to get within 2-3 feet of David to do damage. David probably knocked Goliath out from 30 feet back. Okay, I mean, it wasn't even a fair count. David shot him right in the head. Goliath was big and slow. This is the worst matchup you ever wanted, okay? But again, you got to be non-traditional and do the exact opposite of what everybody else. Everybody else trying to fight Goliath with swords. Everybody in shields and armor. Well, you ain't big as him. Everybody else trying to get financially free, okay? doing a 9 to 5 till you're 65. That obviously isn't working. So we are going a lot faster. We don't need all that type of stuff, all the technology. We don't need all that. We got 5 smooth stones. Now, here's one more thing I'll tell you. This is what Goliath said that threw me off a little bit. He said to David, and meanwhile, and this is in verse 41, meanwhile, the Philistine with his shield bearer in front of him kept coming closer to David. Okay. He looked David over and saw that he was little more than a boy, glowing with health and handsome, and he despised him. Some people are going to despise you because you're going to be having so much fun building this business with your friends. It's going to be incredible. And he said to David, am I a dog that you come at me with sticks? Now he said plural. Now David only had the staff, the stones, and the slingshot, and the bag, and his tunic. 5 things, right? Goliath had sticks. Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks, plural? So what does that tell me? It tells me that Goliath is a big, slow, older dude, been fighting since his youth, who probably is either really nearsighted or been hit in the head so many times in battle, he don't see straight. A lot of times, and the research shows this, articles and books even written about this that I found, books on David and Goliath, where Goliath might have been so tall because he had a pituitary gland issue. And when you get older, the pituitary gland issue can put pressure on your optic nerves and mess up your eyesight. So he's seeing double. There was literally no way he was going to win this fight. Goliath is actually the underdog. And people are thinking that David's the underdog. No, David was the favorite for anybody who actually looked at things in context. And if you really look at this world right now, the global economy, if you look at this in context, the people working 9 to 5s. They're the underdog. You're the favorite. Did you know that you are twice as likely in network marketing to make full-time income than you are in real estate? That's the statistics as of 2019 and 2020. I didn't write them. That's the truth. Twice as likely to make $50,000 to $75,000 a year in network marketing than you are real estate. So real estate's the underdog, not you. Did you know you are 3 times as likely to make 6 and 7 figures in network marketing as you are real estate? Did you know that? It's ridiculous. And you're like 30 times more likely to make 6 and 7 figures in marketing than you are music or entertainment. It's like, it's not even, everybody's thinking the network marketers are the underdogs. I'm here to tell you, no, you're David. You're like the favorite, but you need to know that, all right? As you walk into this 90 days, which is going to change your life and life. So let me give you a little bit. I want to give you what I use when I go on a 90-day run. I'm gonna give you 5 stones because if you didn't know this, you are a spiritual being going through a human experience. Okay, there's so much to talk about that, but you are literally a spiritual being going through a human experience. Your arm is not the real you. If you lost your arm in a car wreck, you're still you. Okay, your brain is not you. If something happens to you, we hope it don't, but if you do and you go brain dead or something, you're still you. Okay, you're still the real you. You are a spirit, like a soul inhabiting a human body. If this doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. Maybe one day it will. But that is who you truly are. Okay? The physical stuff, you can have as much of this stuff as you want when you realize the truth about who you are, and then you don't chase it. I mean, you got to that's a whole nother training. But okay. So we're going to put in the work, though, because faith without works is dead. Don't forget that. So here are 5 stones that I like to use on a 90-day run. I'm being David on this one. I hope y'all are David too. We are not the underdogs in MLM. We are the favorites, but other people don't know. But after you become king or queen, after you get what's the rewards that are on the other side of the giant, after you get those rewards, everybody will see. Don't worry. They'll still be singing your praises today. We know David's name. I can't name but hardly none of his 7 brothers. One of Eliab. One of them, and I went to Bible college, so I can name like one of these guys because they didn't do nothing. Okay, they didn't step out on faith and go handle business, but y'all are stepping out on faith to come handle business, and I love it. So here are your 5 stones that you can use to help slay your giant over the next 90 days. And this is anytime you have a bad day, anytime you get 1 too many rejections, or anytime something should go your way and it don't. I don't want you to stress. I want you to dig into your shepherd's pouch, pull out a stone, and sling it. So let's talk about these stones, and I'll give you a cool mnemonic at the end of it, but we'll talk about them first. First stone that you have that you can use is attitude. Ladies and gentlemen, attitude is the most important word in the English language. Before I start making my exposures, I don't care if it's 2 exposures or 7, It doesn't matter. I'm gonna cut on some music, and I'm gonna get right. I want to get in the right mood, attitude wise, before I send these quick text messages out. It seems like something minor, but that's the truth. And then Claire brought up a great point in the message chat about the green zone, the yellow zone, and the red zone. Try to do your work if you can in the green zone. See, I'm a night owl. Right now it's like 9:45, and I'm loving it. I'm bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and chipper because this is my green zone. This is when I love to work. Your green zone might not be at night. Your green zone might be during the daytime. And if you got a full-time job, that's fine. But when you go on your lunch break, cut on your headphones, get your music right, get right, and then make your 2 quick exposures and keep it moving. But try to do the bulk of your work or the things you don't want to do in your green zone, not the yellow zone or the red zone. My red zone is like from like 8 in the morning to like noon. I don't really like doing a whole lot in the early, late morning time. I like to sleep, but that's me. Everybody got different schedules. You just got to figure out your yellow zone, your green zone, and your red zone. Optimally speaking, your exposures for next week, and then the 2 a day after that should be coming in your green zone. You should try to set them up for that. And but again, attitude, your posture. Okay, you need to have a positive mental attitude. All right, about everything. I'll give you one example about how leaders have a positive mental attitude. A couple months back, we sold out of Nourish. Excuse me. We sold out of Nourish, which is one of our top selling multivitamin products. We sold out of Nourish. And that didn't matter. Leaders were like, man, it's fantastic. It's such a great product. Can't wait to get it back in stock. I'm buying 3, 4, 5 bags because I want to sell it to people right when they want it because I don't want it to sell out again. So we have people now buying 10 or 15 bags of Nourish at a time. But people who weren't leaders, who didn't have a positive mental attitude, they were wilding out. Oh my God, product sold out. What's next? You know, oh my gosh, is this going to sell out too? The attitude was wrong and they didn't win. Leaders with the positive mental attitude, they won. So check your attitude first. If anything happens or you're feeling that, always monitor your attitude. If something goes wrong, let me pause, take a deep breath. Let me check my attitude right. How am I feeling? Can I do something to get in a slightly better mood and then take action? Okay, that's what I want you to do. Focus on your attitude. Number 2, your skills. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to have a lot of incredible network marketing skills here to do well over the next 90 days because in the training videos, that 8 video series, you literally have everything you need. The invitations, the presentations, the closes, the follow-ups. It's all there. It's rejection free. It's all there. You literally learned how to get people to ask you to try a product or take a look at the business without asking anybody to buy, join, or sell. I know you're still blown away by it. I'm still blown away by it, but the stuff just works. But if you want to really focus on your skills because you say, okay, that particular exposure could have went better. Maybe they had an objection I wasn't ready for, which was strange. Role play. There's only so many objections in the world. Like, for example, I don't have the money, and you won't get these, by the way, because of the system. But if you do, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I don't know anybody, I'm not a salesperson. There are literally something you could say to all that. And I guess the next training video will be on overcoming objections. And that's just for your posture and attitude. But that's a skill you can work on. If someone says, Will, I really want to join and work with the team, man, but I'm not a salesperson. I say, great. I'm glad you're not a salesperson because if you were a salesperson, I'd have to untrain you. We don't do all that used car salesman stuff over here, man. We actually don't ask people to buy, join, or sell. We treat an incredible rejection-free method of building businesses, and we've built very large businesses doing that. I can send you the video series on how to do it if you want. That's easy. If someone says, Will, I really want to join, but I don't have the money, okay? You can isolate the objection. Man, okay, you sure that's the only reason you're not joining? It's just money? It's just money, okay? So you mean to tell me you don't have X amount of dollars? Well, no, man, listen. If you don't have $100 to start a business that can make you $100,000, it's not that you can't afford to do this business. You can't afford not to do it. I'm going to just tell you flat out, man, nobody should not have access to $100 and you're an adult with a job. That's ridiculous, you know? So there are different ways that you can handle these objections that's not difficult at all, okay? In fact, you have the option where people can join for free and make money if they so choose. They're not stakeholders, obviously, but they can make a little bit of money. That's better than what they got now, which is nothing. So you got different options there. But check your attitude and then check your skills. Say, man, maybe I need to work on my skills a little bit. Okay, that's a thought. The third stone you have in your bag that you can pull out at any given time and moment to do good is going to be your tools. Okay, that's going to be the videos you use. Healthforwealth.biz, supremeteamvideo.com, supremeteamvideos.com, Chuck's webinar, Marcus' webinar. We're going to be doing live Zooms every week, almost every day, for people who want to get on the live Zooms to get some information. Guess what? Those Zooms are your tools. If somebody's doing a home meeting, that's a tool. Okay, you got a video link to send, a recorded webinar or invitation webinar. These are tools. You got products. That's a tool. That's the number one tool in HBN is products. That's your number one tool. Okay. If I'm having a rough day and I check my attitude, okay, my skills are good. Next up, I'm going to check my tools. All right. Am I sending the right videos out? Am I sending links that really work? Am I using let me think. If my mood is off, maybe I need to put on some Prosper. Maybe I need to put on some frankincense. Okay, maybe I need to use some of the lavender ice to calm me down. See, are there tools? Or if I'm feeling sleepy, maybe I need to make me a double strong cup of Nova coffee. Is there a tool that can help me? So I'm not doing my exposures because I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired. Well, in that case, then let me go drink some Nova coffee and get my energy back up and get back to work. So the next thing, your tools and your products, because that's the best tool you have at HBN is your product. Is there a tool that can help you? Is there an attitude adjustment that can help you? Is it a certain skill that you don't have that you need to get with your upline to help you with? Man, I just need a little bit of help with my closing. Is there a skill that you need help with? The fourth stone in your bag is going to be your team. Ladies and gentlemen, if you in the private team chat for stakeholders, the private messenger chat, that group is growing by every hour, literally. If you have an off day, I'm not saying bring negativity into the chat because we all have positive mental attitude, but you can come there for support. Hey man, this would just happen to me. How would y'all handle this? Oh, this would happen. I had a rough day today, man. I'm just coming here to get some love from y'all, man. I need edification. Need y'all to hype me up. Get me back in the game, man, because I had a rough one today. Or you can come in to share your testimonies. Guys, I'm following the scripts. Look what happened to me. I just got another sign up. Let me welcome so-and-so to the messenger chat. Your team support can help you. And this is what you got to understand about the messenger chat. Either you need the messenger chat, the support group, or the support group needs you. Either you need the support group or the support group needs you. It needs your testimonies, needs your love, needs your energy, needs your coaching. You got a lot of new people that's going to be joining that need your help to get situated and start their own 90-day run. And then fifth, probably my favorite stone in the whole bag is going to be the word of God. And I'll give you a couple of scriptures right quick just to feed your spirit man or your spirit woman, because if I'm ever having a down day, I know there's a verse that can adjust it and help me. And when I get the right verse, everything changes for me. It might be like that for you too. I don't know, but we'll find out. So attitude, skills, your tools and products, your support team, that's all of us, your support team, and the word of God. There's a verse that applies. Let's look at a couple of verses that I think will be very applicable for you over your next 90 days. Number one, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Proverbs 23:7. Okay, whatever you think about is going to come into physical reality. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So you need to be thinking positive stuff. And here's a little pro tip. You need to think positive, super, super positive attitude. Okay, even engage your imagination before you do your exposures and follow-ups. Okay, or before you do a presentation. But also another great time to make sure that you're focused on positive thoughts and positive energy and visualization is right before you go to bed. When you're about to fall asleep, that is the number one time to close your eyes. Okay, you're probably slipping to alpha wave brain state, on the way to theta wave brain state, on the way to delta wave brain state, but you'll hit alpha first, beta alpha, theta delta. When you close your eyes as you go into bed, I want you to be thinking about how your perfect day would have gone. Even if your day wasn't good, imagine that it was good and fall asleep with that. Imagine how incredible is your day going to be tomorrow. Imagine meeting us in Orlando and not worrying at the event in December and not worrying about money. Just spend whatever because you're doing so well, okay? Fall asleep with the proper mindset, visualization, imagination. That is going to help you a lot. So as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Job 36:11 says, if they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. Wow, that is really, really amazing there. And there's only 2 commandments that Jesus really talks about that we need to do. We'll cover those later. But yeah, it's not hard. It's not hard to not be a bad person, guys. It's really not difficult. It's a lot easier than what a lot of religious people would have you believe. But, it is what it is. Next up, but here's the key. It says, if they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. That's amazing to me. But Jesus said, as you do unto the least of my people, Okay, you do it unto me. So I believe that there's a lot of prosperity and wealth and service. So we want to make sure that one of our core values, okay, like excellence and harmony, one of our team core values is service. So we want to be doing this stuff with a servant's heart. Servant-driven leadership is where we thrive. We're really helping to give people options of better health and more money if they want it, all right? And leaders aren't scared, okay? Exodus 7:1. Then the Lord said to Moses, see, I have made you like God unto Pharaoh. Wow. So in Exodus 7:1, Exodus, this means the exit means getting out of the bad place, going to the promised land. See, you're on the way to the promised land. And it says right here, started off the chapter with that, 7:1. Exodus 7, verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, see, I have made you like God unto Pharaoh. Ladies and gentlemen, God has literally made you like God unto your problems, unto your giant. He made David like God unto Goliath. Goliath never saw it coming, okay? And you can handle your giants the same way. Next up in Mark 12:29-31, Jesus said, the most important one, answered Jesus, is this. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind and with all your strength. And the second one is this. Love your neighbor as yourself. There is no commandment greater than these. Wow. So that's what it really means to serve. Just listening to that a couple of times. And that gets me fired up to run out, serve my fellow man, serve my fellow woman, and serve, the community, and really get these products and opportunity to the hands of people, because it's been such a blessing to my life. I want it to bless other people's lives if they want it. Okay. If they want it, I got you. All right. And next up, another quick verse, Job. And it says here, this is about accountability, okay? Because sometimes you have a bad day and it's on you because you were lazy or you waited till 2 a.m. to do your exposures, and that's not your green zone. And listen to what it says in Job 19:4. And be it indeed that I have erred, and mine error remaineth with myself. See, Job was going through a lot in that book, but he took accountability for his own issues. And he was like, man, it's on me. He was like, it's on me, right? And what did Job end up with? He ended up with double everything he had before, right? But he took full accountability and full responsibility for his situation, and you will too. 1 Samuel 16:16, this is a fun one. It says, let our Lord now command your servants who are here before you to find a man who plays skillfully on the harp, and when the evil spirit from God is on you, interesting, he shall play the harp with his hand, and you will be well. Okay, interesting. God loves music, apparently. So I'm going to make sure that I play music that keeps me in a good mood, especially when I'm working or have to work in my yellow or red zone. I'm going to make sure I'm playing music, and then I'm going to get to work, because that's going to help your attitude, which is critical. Let's just do a few more before we wrap up. Thank y'all for bearing with me. Psalm 119, 113. Tell you what, let's see what this. Oh, I hate vain thoughts, but thy law do I love. Okay, so we talked about having the proper thoughts, and as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So thought is huge in the eyes of God. In fact, sowing and reaping refers to sowing seeds and reaping a harvest, but on an esoteric level, it means the things that you sow in thought will come to life in your physical reality. So it says, I hate vain thoughts. So don't be wasting your thoughts on stuff that won't get no benefit, that don't matter. The rejection, the negativity, what your cousin said, or whatever about the business. We ain't worried about that. We're not worried about what the news says or the economy or the pandemic. We ain't worried about none of that. All we worried about is having the positive thoughts that will come into reality for you, and that's an unbreakable spiritual law. So I hate vain thoughts, but thy law do I love. And what law right there is God referring to? There's a whole lot of laws, but there's hundreds of laws in the Bible. But it says right here, I hate vain thoughts. So it's going to be a law about thought, obviously, because this is, I hate vain thoughts, but thy law do I love. So we'll let the Bible interpret itself right there. And it's going to be a law about thought. What's the number one law about thought in the Bible? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Sowing and reaping. As you sow, so shall you reap. So don't sow vain thoughts that get you no benefit. Sow positive thoughts. Sow thoughts of power. Sow thoughts of excellence and edification. Sow thoughts of helping your fellow man, helping your fellow woman, create a financial wall of security around that family that nothing can get through. Sow thoughts of physical health and robust physical health and strong immune systems and things of that nature, especially when you falling asleep. That's my favorite thing to do, is take a nap or go to bed. It's one of my favorite things to do. Why? Because I get a chance to fall asleep with my thoughts, and I know that if I sow them, I will reap them. You sow in thought, you reap in physical reality. That's the law. Okay, I think I got two more for you. Let's see which one is this. Nope, we won't cover that one today. We'll save that for another training. Nope, won't cover that. We'll save that for another training. Let's see what else we got. Okay, here we go. Romans 15:2. And this is about your support team. Let each one of us make it a practice to please his neighbor for his good, to build him up spiritually. So we know the Bible was written a long time ago and it's very male dominated in the writing. But what it really means is, as each one of us, let us make it a practice to please our neighbor for their good and to build them up. Guy, girl, doesn't matter. To build them up spiritually. So speak life into your neighbor. Edify them, edify your team member, edify your upline, edify your downline, edify your crossline. Speak life into them, even if they don't hear you doing it. And it's going to benefit everybody. It's going to benefit everybody. And then we'll finish up right here with one more. We will not do that one. No, we'll save that one for another training. Let's just do this last one. Proverbs 3:12, and it says, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in. So ladies and gentlemen, you'll feel some days, I'm gonna tell you, especially if you get 30, 40, 50 days in this thing, where things don't necessarily go your way. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But the discipline of being disciplined and doing the work every single day, no matter what, being accountable, and also the discipline of sometimes things not going your way. Don't trip about it. It's all part of the process, and it's all done universally, spiritually speaking, out of a spirit of love, because the Lord disciplines those he loves, as a father the son he delights in. So when someone leave my team, I don't trip about that. If someone tells me no, I don't trip about that. If I don't get the sale I should have got or get the rank I really wanted to get, guess what? I just look at it as discipline. I count it all for love, and I'm just always working on myself. I'm doing my personal development. I do more bad than good. I have more people that love me than hate me. I just try to do my best, whatever that is, on a regular basis. So that's the training for today, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the big three takeaways. Number one, you have WATTS, watts. Okay, WATTS, like the electrical unit of measure. So the first takeaway is you have 5 stones that you can use at any given time to revitalize yourself, re-energize yourself, and edify yourself and others to get back on track. And you're going to need these. It's the Word of God, your attitude, your tools, which includes your products, your team, your support team, and your skills. That's the 5 stones you have in your bag. Take them out every day if you need to and start slinging them. You're good to go. Okay, second point is that David was non-traditional and didn't look like what everybody thought it should look like. They were a bunch of 9-to-5ers, okay, scared to do something with their life, which is no problem. We've all been 9-to-5ers. David had his 9-to-5 shepherd job, but he also had his MLM business on the side, which was giant killing, okay? So the second thing I want you to really take away is David was not the underdog. He was the favorite. Goliath was the underdog. So David went and did what he needed to do. So you're not the underdog. Don't never think that. You're the overdog. You're the favorite. You're the one who's supposed to win. Okay? The Bible says it all the time. David is literally, his name means beloved. God's beloved. David was God's, he said, man, it's one of my favorite sons. He's a man after my own heart. He's my favorite. So you're the favorite, not the underdog. Don't forget that. Okay, you need to really understand that, conceptually speaking. And last but not least, let's see if you got another good point in there. Take accountability for your business over this next 90 days. Really, really take it serious. Pour into it 100%, and it will give you 100% back. That's the thing about this industry. You can't do 99% and get 99% back. It doesn't work. Can't give 80% and get 80% back. Doesn't work. You got to give 100% at some point in your career. And this next 90 days is going to be that time for you. So I love you. God bless you. I'll post this video as soon as I can. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Week 1 is going to be a doozy. I hope y'all all make it.